stream has started. And let's see who accepts the stream.
My lips are chapped from the darn weather.
Twitch has accepted the stream.
Good old Twitch.
YouTube has accepted the stream.
Good YouTube.
Facebook has accepted the stream.
Good.
Okay. Now I have to put it on your page, correct?
Correct.
All right. Stand by while I do that for you.
Standing by.
Okay, and now I've got to get the link.
Okay.
And let's see here. Copy link. And put it on your page. And post it. Okay, it's on your page, buddy.
Okay.
When you see the timer says on the air, you're on the air, okay?
Okay. And welcome to the Oracle of Enlightenment Vortex. I am the observer, Sal Monaco, and it's nice to see that the temperature here in Buffalo has gone up to a whopping 40. And as usual, we're so in a hurry to get spring weather that people are going out not only without coats, but some of them are going out in shorts. Next thing you know, we'll be seeing sandals. I have to say, things are really wild here in Buffalo when it comes to weather. So if you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes. Now, next week is Fat Tuesday and Ash Wednesday, so I remind everyone to get your big meal in on Fat Tuesday and get your ashes on Wednesday if you're Roman Catholic or whatever other religion does it. St. Patrick's Day is coming up, so find your place to have your St. Patrick's Day meal. I personally prefer shepherd's pie or Irish stew to the proverbial corned beef and cabbage. But, all right, well, tonight's going to be a relatively simple show. I'm going to be showing videos from some of the events I was at last year. So for our first event, now I want to remind everyone that what we do is basically guerrilla filmmaking. I mean, it's not, they don't give us the time to like set up, stabilize things unless you have an actual tripod with you, which a lot of people don't carry around with them. Otherwise, you'll see a lot of shaking and you'll see, maybe a few angles that go out of focus. Hopefully there won't be as much in this particular set of videos, but we are going to show you an interview with William Shatner, yes, Captain James T. Kirk. And then afterwards, we'll show you one with Lou Diamond Phillips, star of La Bamba, The Young Guns, and Wolf Lake. So starting off first, ladies and gentlemen, William Shatner. Now, also keep in mind that he started talking before we actually started, so he's an interesting character to watch, let's put it that way. And this was early on a Sunday morning, too. It was at like 11:30 a.m.
Transferred to to the stuffed bear, stuffed lion, and it lives, or does it live, or is it dead? Is there, well, what is a statue? A statue is emblematic of what happened before, whether it was the Civil War or a gravestone of somebody who died generations ago, and the family goes and says, "I hope you're okay, dear," and they don't never met the dead person, but we retrieve the dead by having objects that we can see. Cecil is dead, but Cecil lives. I mean, it's fantastic. You in the green. Yes. Stand up. Somebody get the microphone over to him.
Yes, sir.
There you go. You're not somebody. What's your name? Stay there.
My name's Chris.
Wait, before
Did he talk
your
about
name?
going into space?
Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. You're not somebody. You're Kyle. Yeah, what's your name?
My name's Chris.
What do you think of what that silly subject that we started to talk about?
It's not so silly. She keeps the memory alive of somebody from the past who, or in this case, the lion, which was important to her. And I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. And do you have anything like that? What do we call them? Objects from the dead. What?
By the way, did you ever check out that
Photo?
show I told you about?
A totem. That's exactly right. So we have totems all over the place.
I keep memories alive of guys I started with.
How do you do that?
Mostly just in my head, but I do have some photos I keep.
Do you have a totem
No.
of anybody?
Nope.
Do
Just
you have a
photos.
cross? Do you have a piece of jewelry, or what's your memory?
My memory, unfortunately, is private. I don't share it.
You don't want to share it.
No, sir.
Why not?
It's difficult. It's related to my time in the service. It's very private.
Okay, I don't want to interfere with your privacy. On the other hand, what could be less private than people you've never met, and yet you share an experience that we might learn from? Why don't we see if you would be comfortable in this way? If, without mentioning any names or what exactly the experience was, can you just hover and share with us why it's so personal and why you're reluctant to share it with anybody, let alone complete strangers who will forget?
It's kind of hard to explain. So if anyone in here is served,
Let me share with you an experience of mine, and I can't tell you the name of the story I'm about to tell you, because it's a well-known personality. I was doing a interview show. I've forgotten which one it was, but it was one that I really liked was entitled I Don't Know, or I Don't Understand. And I would talk to people about what it is I don't understand. I don't understand 2 plus 2. I mean, what are mathematics? Things you don't understand. So this well-known personality came up when we were talking, as you and I are, and he said, and I don't remember how I intruded into his experience, but he said, "I'm a real Catholic. I'm a very ardent Catholic. But my baby was born with an affliction. I don't remember what the affliction was. And it so moved him, he went everywhere to try and have it blessed, to have the affliction removed. And nothing happened. And then he went further into voodooism. He went anywhere he could to try and find some spiritual way of removing whatever it was wrong with the baby. And that's antithetic to his Catholicism. And he said that's how desperate I was. And it never worked, of course. So he came back. I said, that's an incredible story. And he left the studio. 15 minutes later, the phone rang. And he said, listen, I've been thinking about the story I told you. And I don't want you to play it on the air. Would you not play it on the air? And it was a sensational story. He gave you the name of the guy who's now dead. It would be like, wow, what a insight into the torture, into the emotions of that guy. I've never revealed the name, but the concept of going deep into the torture, into the deep emotions that disturb you, the concept of going there and sharing it was enormous. So I tell you that story because you're innocuous. We don't know who you are, where you've been, what you've done. So sharing that story might enlighten you, might enlighten us, might give us an insight not only into you, but into humanity, into a battleground story that so few of us have ever experienced. Is there anything there that appeals to you?
Well, it all appeals. It's still just, it's a private moment. I keep it
I get you.
within close circle of friends that I served with, and that's where it'll stay.
And that was in the forces?
Yes, I was Air Force Combat Controller, and I served 3 tours in Afghanistan.
First of all, I thank you for your service, and I thank you for clinging to your. What would you like to? So we're back to experiences and things that. Have you got your hand up? Please.
Could I just quickly ask you a question?
Anything. Just hang on a second over there.
How did you ever get involved into Rescue 911?
How did I get into Rescue 911? What a fascinating jump. that is, because Rescue 911 was a show that went on for 5 years, and it's never really mentioned, and it was a popular show for 5 years. Why is it never mentioned along with this other stuff I've done? I don't know. But based on the number of letters I received that people said we learned something and you saved my life or you saved that life. We recounted that we saved the show in 5 years, saved about 3,000 people's lives.
Wow.
And yeah, and I'll tell you a story. You see how this is working, right? One thing leads to another. I'll tell you a story about Rescue 911 that I don't believe I've ever told it. Is there any water up here? Is there a bottle of water? Gentlemen, lady, thank you. A married couple were living in their home, and they were watching, I think, the show or some show. They had 3 kids living in the house, and they went to bed and went to sleep. And the wife woke up some hours later and nudged her husband and said, I've got a blinding headache. I think I should go to the hospital. Would you open that for me? Thank you. There you go. And so off they went to the hospital. They had the 3 kids, but the hospital was nearby. They let the 3 kids in the house, and they drove to the hospital. And now they got into the waiting room, and they were told, you got a half an hour wait. So they sat there, the woman with a blinding headache, and there was a television set on, and Rescue 911 was on the television set. It was on the air, and they're looking at the show, and the show's about monoxide gas. And the husband and wife say, wait a minute, those are the symptoms I feel. We're suffering from monoxide gas. We got the 3 kids in the house. They jumped back in the car. They drove back to their house. They got the kids in the house. They got the house examined. And indeed, those children would have died from monoxide poisoning if they hadn't been gone to the hospital and watched Rescue 911.
Wow.
Is that like a wild story? I haven't told that in a long time. Gary, you have somebody that you got this lady here.
Hello.
Hello.
Shatner.
Is there somebody?
Yeah.
Can you hear me all right back
I
there?
can hear you well, but.
I was asking somebody else. You're all sharing this moment. Okay.
All right.
What's your question?
So my question is, how was your experience in space, and what was it like?
Okay, I'll go there. Although that isn't the totem that we were talking about. Yes, all right. I will go there because you've asked the question. So about a lot of years ago, I read the book called Rachel Carson's Silent Spring. 200 people watch me drink it. All the water. Silent Spring by Rachel Carson, in which she said the reason birds are dying is because of DDT. And DDT was being lauded as the insecticide that will save the world. It will increase food production, getting rid of all the insects, and it's the answer to starvation, which mankind ultimately will face because our basic problem is overpopulation. What the earth can produce to allow everybody to survive. It's Malthusian in its thought, in that sooner or later, and Malthus thought that it would be sooner that we would run out of places to feed, and we would all be dying of starvation because we're too many people. Mankind, this incredible mind that humans have, which is part godlike, spiritual, of the highest order, and the other part of us, which is savage and are killers. So Malthus said, as of this date, it was like the 1800s or early 1900s, we're all going to run out of food. What he didn't take into account was our ability to invent. We invented things that would feed the fields and thusly produce more food per acre than we were doing when we were just plowing. We didn't realize that in plowing, we were destroying the earth, and we plowed everything up. Then we discovered that plowing was bad. And we went back to not plowing, and then plowing circular. And then science took over, and then invented ability to enhance the richness of the earth. And we did that. And then we saw, oh, well, insects. So we'll kill all the insects, not realizing that the insects are pollinators. So we were both making life and destroying at the same time, which is what we humans do, apparently. So DDT is invented, and it's the greatest insecticide ever invented. Got rid of all the insects. Everything that was interfering with the growth of food. It also interfered with everything that was living, because everything was living off of insects. So the birds would lay their eggs, and the shells would be too soft to contain the yolk, so the eggs would break. And the eggs began to die. This was, 50 years ago. And they did their research, and they said, hey, it's DDT. Let's stop DDT. So in most places, they stopped DDT, the birds came back. So I read this book all about that, but it was also about global warming, which is what we invented. Instead of letting nature have its course, we dammed up the rivers. We interfered with nature to such a degree that we now have 2 hurricanes, one on top of each other. And if we think that's it, you're mistaken. There are going to be more hurricanes, worse than we've had, because the hotter the air gets, the more moisture it has in the air, and the more moisture it has in the air, the more it rains, and the more you got it. So that's global warming. And that's not going to stop until we stop doing what we're doing. So we got to stop what we're doing. All this I knew. So now, get ready to go up in a spaceship, and we rehearse for 3 days, getting into the seat. Because in weightlessness, now there's no way of imitating. You can't get ready for weightlessness, even in the swimming pool, because nothing's like weightlessness. I'm one of apparently 600 people who were weightless, and there are no words to describe it. You're floating around, but it's like a dream. It's like I don't even think it's what you must feel like if you're caught up in a tornado. I mean, you're looking down, like, my God, I'm floating. I'm going to crash soon. I wonder how long I could be this afraid. I mean, I wonder what it's like. It's like falling out of an airplane without a parachute, and you're going down at whatever that speed is, 132 miles per second, which I don't even know what that means. And you're going down, and you got to be conscious, right? You got to think, holy shit, I'm going to hit the ground. And then you hit the ground, and you don't remember anything. So weightlessness has got to be something like that, I guess. What's weightlessness going to be like? So we practice getting to a 5-point harness, weightless, or presuming weightless. So you're in a prostrate position like this, and now get a 5-point harness, because getting out of the 5-point harness is easy. Getting back in, apparently, in weightlessness is very difficult. So we do that for 3 days, and then we go to the spaceship. So we get to the spaceship, and as I walk by it, it's off-gassing what looks like steam. I said, what's that? It says hydrogen. Hydrogen. Have you all seen those documentaries on the Hindenburg?
Yeah.
You know what's burning? Hydrogen. Hydrogen is burning. So those lighter than air aircraft, Zeppelins, of which the Hindenburg was one, came across with all the people who had paid money to be on board, and then docked in New Jersey, and they ran the landing line to hook onto the Zeppelin, to the Hindenburg. What they didn't realize was static electricity went up the landing line and across the anodized body of the Zeppelin. It was coated in an aluminum paint, which is metallic, which took the electrical impulse right across the 300-foot body to the far end, where there was a little leakage of hydrogen gas. Boom. And you remember the announcer saying, oh, the humanity of it all. And you see little people, this small, running like hell from... I was getting in a ship that had that kind of gas. How am I doing for time? I don't want to know the time. How much time do I have?
About 9 minutes.
9?
9.
I'm going to stay alive for 9 minutes. So I get in the ship, in my seat, which is lying back, and I strap myself in, and they close the door, and we're closed. And the countdown begins. T-minus 20, T-minus 19, whoop! Hold the count. There's an anomaly. What the hell's an anomaly? What's an anomaly? Oh yeah, anomaly is something that doesn't belong there. Maybe that's me. Okay, we cleared up the anomaly. T-minus 80, 70, 60, and now I'm going to tell you the God's truth. I mean, nothing's been embellished up to now, but what I'm about to tell you sounds like an embellishment. It isn't. All right, everybody, says the guy on the loudspeaker. We're going to remove the gantry Anybody who wants to get off should get off now. And I'm thinking, okay, here I go. I can't. I'm Captain Kirk. So I stay, and the countdown goes off. They remove the gantry, boom, the ignition, the hydrogen ignites, and I'm compressed in my seat. I think, good God, I'm going to die. And then we're through the carbon line, and the gravity is off, and they say, we're in weightlessness. And I undo the 5-point harness, and I float out of my seat. Now, when I was asked to go, I brought up the idea of me going to Jeff Bezos a year and a half before. I flew to Seattle, and we had a meeting. I mean, wouldn't it be great? Blue Origin's going to go up. Wouldn't it be great if Captain Kirk went up? Yeah, it's a great idea. We'll talk about it. Thank you very much for coming. And we left. We went back home. Then COVID hit, and a year and a half goes by. And then I read that Bezos himself is going to go up with his brother and with a lady astronaut who didn't go up, and with a young guy, a teenager. And that's who's going to go up, the 4 people that were going to go up. Oh, dear, too bad. I'm not going to go up first. You know, that was a good idea, but, and then they go up and they come back down. And it's noted, but it isn't, you know, it isn't for big news. It was Jeff Bezos went up. Get a phone call a little while later. Would you like to go up second? I'm not going to go up second. I'm getting the vice president. Would you want the president? Want the president? Too late. No, I don't want to go. I'm lying in bed one day early, a few days later, and I'm in that between the sleep and the wakened state where your best thoughts come. And I've got a book out there now that's entitled Boldly Go, which says, go. You know, no matter what age you are, whatever you get out there and go and say yes to life. Say yes. Go out there with new ideas and new people and new friends and you just get the hell out of the house and walk. Go somewhere. Say yes to the adventure of life. That's the book. I'm thinking, hey, why don't I say yes to life? So I go up that day and I said, okay, I'll go up second. Going to go up second. So now I'm up in the air and I'm weightless. And I see the other people striking fists. Hey, look at us, we're up there. And I had remembered some footage that I had seen of Jeff Bezos at the Adolescent. And, you know, you're floating, rather than get up, I'll demonstrate. So you're floating in the air, and Bezos is floating, there's a camera, and he's floating with his head this way, and his legs out like that. And the kid, now they're weightless, is throwing candies at his rear end. Like, whatever you call that thing, whack-a-mole or what. Wow, that is the weirdest thing. You're weightless and you're in space for the first time and the last time in your life, and you're throwing candies at your asshole? Are you? So I made a deal with myself that I wasn't going to do that. So now I'm weightless and I make my way over to the window as quickly as I can. And for some reason, I'm looking back and I see the wake of the spaceship through the air. I've never heard that mentioned before. The thing is going through the air and it's leaving a wake. Holy mackerel, nobody ever mentioned that before. That, of course, the ship is disturbing the air and looking like a submarine underwater is making waves. And then I look front, up ahead, and I see blackness. And the blackness I'm thinking, I'm seeing, is if you're ever been in a cave, on a tourist thing, and they close the door to the cave, and now you're in blackness, and suddenly you're losing your balance because you you're attached to nothing. It's so palpable. It's so there, the blackness, that it's like a force. Like you got to brace yourself. That's the blackness I saw. The blackness that lies in space. And I've been a student of space, as you can imagine, for so many years. I'm intrigued by the awesomeness of space. I mean, just the most recent pictures of the telescope, of our telescope, the Hubble and the Webb. The Hubble and the Webb telescopes are showing us a story of how incredible, bizarre. What did Einstein say? Not the craziness, the spookiness of space. It's so spooky out there. Things are exploding and descending and accreting, and black holes are sucking, and other things are expelling, and the energy, the things that are going on in space are unimaginable. We can only see bits of it. I designed a watch that has the Webb telescope looking at the Earth and the sky, the Earth and the sky. It's a space watch, just based on what the Webb is showing us in its clarity and its different red scale. So we're only catching a glimpse of the incredible mystery of space. That's what I am a student. That's what I'm with you all in the mystery. I saw none of that. The only thing I saw in that window, that blackness, it was black. There was no mystery there. There was death. There was no question about it. That was death. This was life. The beige of the Texas desert, the whiteness of the clouds, the blue of the air. That's life. That's death. And all those things that are going extinct. I just felt them going extinct. There's a million things as we speak, as you listen to me right now. Things are going extinct that we didn't even know existed. That's the sadness. The sadness is it took 3.8 billion years of life to come to this point, to evolve to this point. And they're dying, and we didn't know they evolved. They didn't know the magic. Everything is tied together in a skein of life that we all realize. Trees talk to each other. Not just pheromones that float down, say to the other trees downwind, the beetles are coming, make your sap more toxic. It's by electrochemical means, by their roots to other trees. That's how magical nature is. And that's how tied together. If they, with electrochemical signals along the mycelium of the fungi, can send a signal, our brains work through electrochemical signals along the dendrites. It's exactly the same thing. That's slower, ours are faster, but it's exact. We're so connected. Why don't you stand up? Okay. I wonder what stooping would have helped. I don't know. Where are you going? 9 minutes.
We're done. We're out of time, sir.
I was so moved, I didn't realize how moved I was until I landed. And when I landed and stepped out of the spaceship, I was weeping and I didn't know why I was crying. And as I thanked everybody, I'm still crying. I go and sit down. What am I doing? Cameras all around, and why am I crying? And I realized I was in grief, and I was in grief for our world.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And we're back live in studio. That was William Shatner. Again, we apologize for the shaking and the weird camera angles. Like I said, it's guerrilla filmmaking. But I've seen Shatner at least 3 times live, and that is probably the best talk he gave of the 3 times. And there is talk that he might be reprising his role as Captain Kirk one more time. And there is a short film online on YouTube that features him reprising his role. But nowadays it seems hard to tell what's a fan film and what isn't. I mean, we fans have the ability to make our own movies. We can make our own animation. We can do all kinds of things. So, but officially, he is in talk to reprise his role. Exactly where and for what, we don't know, but that's what we got. All right, coming up next is Lou Diamond Phillips. Now, Lou was a great guy. I have to say he was very nice, very friendly, and very approachable. And when I asked him about his TV show, I didn't get, he was a little, I don't want to say put out, but apparently he has a lot of issues with the show. Not that it was a bad show or anything, but just the way it was treated. And I don't blame him, because it was a good show and it should have gone farther than it did. So that's Wolf Lake. Ladies and gentlemen, Lou Diamond Phillips, the La Bamba. Ba-da-ba-da La Bamba.
1987, Miami Vice. Do you know the name of your character?
Bobby Diaz.
Yeah, okay.
That episode is called Red Tape. I was just talking to Eddie about this yesterday, because that's why I didn't stand and deliver. Was that episode of Miami Vice? Viggo Mortensen gets blown up in the first 5 minutes. Spoiler alert, he's my partner. And the girlfriend of the bad guy is Annette Bening. All in that one episode.
I think you're going to do very well. You went into some very specific detail with this already, okay?
I take credit.
Okay. Jumping forward to 88, Dakota. This is a little bit of an easy one for you.
In the movie Dakota, I play Dakota.
That's the confidence booster in this game, okay. Disorganized Crime, 1989.
Ray Forky.
Hey! Okay, amazing. Another confidence booster, Young Guns 2.
Wow, I know who I played in Young Guns 1. Wake up in the morning and I raise my way. I got an old cool for a pillow. The earth is last night's bed. Not just one Chavez, Chavez E. Chavez.
1999, jumping forward almost a decade to Bats.
Sheriff Emmett Kinsey, one of my favorite lines of dialogue in my entire filmography. I am not up to my chest in bat shit.
Yep, that'll do it.
All right, moving into 2008, another decade forward almost to J Part 2.
J Part 2. Real life character, Mario Monte, the communist secretary of Bolivia.
Okay, yeah, 100%. You're crushing. All right, Cougar Town, 2011.
I love that show.
Cougar Town 2011.
Do you remember the name of it?
I remember the name of the character because this character has appeared in so many films. This character, also by the same name, appeared in Easter Sunday with Joe Coy. Also appeared as this character in You're the Worst, and a really, really raunchy, not for the faint-hearted comedy short called Lucy in the Sky with Diamond.
Mhm.
That character is Blue Diamond Phillips.
Yep, I know it.
And lastly, from 2017, a lot of people love this show. One of my favorites, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
This one. Beef, baby. Street flavors. Picante beef, Szechuan chicken. Yeah. Is this person Kevin?
In the same similar vein.
Yeah, no, it's
Kevin. That's the first time I hang out with a Kevin.
Right, no, it's Romero is the like character's
Yeah,
last name.
100%.
But what's hilarious is you find out later that it's like Brian or something like that. Is it Jeff Romero?
Jeff Romero.
Jeff Romero. That's
Hey,
it.
I'll give it to you because you got most of it there. So amazing, 100%. Wow. All right, we've covered a lot of your work at this point, so let's throw it over to the audience for some more questions. So we have 2 mics, so we'll get to as many as we can for what's left. So we'll start over here. Go ahead. What is your question?
All right, that was the first part of the interview, and now here's the second.
It was fantastic working with Robert Carlyle. I love that entire cast. As a matter of fact, I spoke with David Blue just last week, so we stayed in touch. Alana Huffman is still a really dear friend of her family. Her kids are amazing, gorgeous. But loved that entire process. We shot in Vancouver, which is where I met my wife. So, special town for us. And right when Telford was taking a turn and becoming a good guy and, being a lot more involved, they canceled the show. So, they'd already talked to me about what Telford will be doing in the 3rd season. And I was going to be, the guy trying to get them back to earth, which would have been cool.
There's a lot of fans.
Carlisle's fantastic. He used to blast the music from his trailer, which is closest to the set, obviously, number 1 on the call sheet, and stand outside and I can smoke his raw buds or his Camels, whatever the hell they were.
And then my other question was, do you have any fond memories of the prodigal son?
I not only have fond memories of Prodigal Son, I'm heartbroken for Prodigal Son. I loved that character. I loved that cast. I officiated at Tom and Jen's wedding in New York. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I've been so fortunate in that the few series that I've done, Longmire, Prodigal Son, SGU, just amazing people to work with, both in the cast and on the crew, and the writers and the directors. So I'm really, really spoiled. Just every day was a treat. On my set and getting to work in New York and wear nice clothes and all that good stuff. And I directed one of those as well, so that was a real treat.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, over to this side. Go ahead. What is your question?
Okay, my question. I'm super tired, by the way, so I'm gonna try and get through this.
So you don't look super tired.
I've actually been up for like 2 days.
You look super sharp. Oh, dude, yeah, coffee, Red Bull, you got all that going on?
Pretty much.
All right.
So, my dad actually interviewed you like way back in the day when you were fresh off of Young Guns and you were actually playing with your band, Blue Diamond and the Pipe Fitters.
That's right.
And so I'm curious how much you still play, and if you were how the memories behind that. Because I remember I was a young kid and I got like 8x10 signed by you. You had your long hair, you had your fucking pumps and everything, like fresh off the filming.
Yeah.
So I just want to comment on that, and I've been a fan for a really long time.
Well, it's so funny because I don't actually play anything. I'm like the drummer. I'm the guy who hangs out with musicians. But a bunch of buddies of mine from Texas, and I'm still in touch with them. Sherman and Bill and Chris Lindsay, the bass player. All great guys. And I mean, that whole thing came out of such a weird time because I had the biggest house and it was empty because I was a bachelor. And so there was a play called A Riff for Emily that all the guys in the band were in, including our dear friend Brandon Lee. And the play closed in like a night, but everybody loved the band, so they started practicing at my house. And one thing led to another, and I started singing backup, and I started writing songs with them. Got moved up to lead singer, and we did an amazing tour of Canada way back in the day, from PEI to Nanaimo. So I've seen more of Canada than a lot of Canadians, and it's also where I developed my love for Canadian beer. And I'm close to Creemore Springs. You guys got to get Creemore Springs down here, right? All right, I need to find one. I need to find Creemore Springs Ale, because they're delicious, Jerry.
And I just want to say much love to Brandon Lee. Like, I know,
I've been trying for 10 years to get a movie about him made that I wrote with his best friend Bill Allen, who was in the Pipefitters.
I went to his grave. Sorry, I actually been to his grave too, like outside, like in Seattle, like beside his dad.
Right next to his dad's.
Like, and it's just beautiful. Because I've communicated before with Young Turner and everything. It's just fucking wicked, bro.
There you
and
go,
it's
brother.
just, this isn't much a question as much as just love for you, because I've been a fan for a really long time, and just you're fucking awesome, man.
Thank you.
Young Guns.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Did pretty good for being so tired, I gotta say.
I know, right?
Okay, over to you. Go ahead. What's your question?
Well, I actually have two. You can't really talk that. That's fucking awesome. But my first question is this. It's about your wife first. And the rest of you screw my background as myself. Yay, that's awesome. I have to ask you this. Have you ever tried rouladen? It's a German dish, rouladen.
She knows how to make it, but she doesn't make a whole lot of rouladen.
Rouladen's good. It's with stir-fried beef with pickles, onions, bacon.
What's the one we have Christmas Eve? Yeah. And there you go.
It's awesome.
What's the piece with the sauerkraut? What is that? Kapusta. We do a traditional German meal every Christmas Eve. So yeah, she's keeping it all alive, dude.
But try rouladen, no. It's amazing.
Right?
Gravy, stir-fried beef,
Look,
bacon,
nice.
onions, dill pickle in the middle.
Okay, I'm dripping here. I'm dripping.
My question is this. I have to ask, and I know a lot of fans would be like, what? What's going on with Young Guns 3? I heard it's in production. I know the writing phase and everything. What's going on with that?
No, I'll tell you what it
Because
is.
you're not dead. Remember, in real life, you did die.
Well, here's the thing, man.
You did die.
I die off camera. Or so we thought. And somebody said, but the spirit horse came. And I said, yeah. But it ran off with nobody on its back, right? No, seriously. Like a year and a half ago, maybe two now, Emil sent me a script that he had written. It's fantastic. It's really, really good. It brings us up to our current ages, which puts,
I was gonna say, if the cast comes back, is it just called Guns 3 now?
It's so funny because on the front of the script, it's got Young Guns, and Young Guns is like shot out. So it's like Guns 3, Guns 3, the hemorrhoidal.
Oh! Ouch.
The Blazing Saddles. But the prop, and I have storyboards that he sent me. I have, he went to San Pedro to once again location scout. He got far down the road with it, and this really, really bumps me out. Morgan Creek, the original producer, they owned the IP, and they go, well, we might do something else with it. We might update it. We might do something on the CW to make it contemporary. And it's like, you can do both. You can let Emilio make his Western, and then go remake The Outsiders or whatever the hell you have in mind for it. So we're in limbo right now. John Fusco is still attached. There was another actor who died off camera who will still be attached. So I'm wishing him luck.
Thank you very much. And all the best.
I have time for about 3 more questions. We're 3 of you at the mic, so we'll get through everyone here. So let's jump back to that side. Go ahead.
How you doing? Big fan of the show Psych. Do you have any crazy...
Lars Ewing.
Do you have any
Incorrect. That's correct. Sorry.
Do you have any fun or crazy behind-the-scenes stories from filming?
Lots. I mean, first of all, and somebody else, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, between Andy Samberg and things right out of my head, the lead. James Rode, thank you so much. Those guys have carte blanche to ad lib. And I played the straight man in both of those, you know? And I don't think I got through a single take without those assholes cracking me up. I mean, they, you know, and so it was just a joy to do. And almost anytime, I love doing comedy. What's funny is I'm not really known for comedy. I'm Emmy nominated for a comedy piece, 2 Emmy nominations. You know, everybody thinks I'm the brooding ethnic. You know, I'm either going to make you cry or I'm going to stab you. One of the two. And so almost sight unseen, if somebody, you know, my agent or manager calls and goes, "Hey, there's this comedy." Yes. The answer is yes. You know, because I just love doing it. It's why my first professional gig was with a comedy troupe in Fort Worth, Texas. You know, so I love doing the comedy, and it was a joy to be on that. Maybe if they do another movie, they'll ask me back. And then we had a really great poker night. The James and Dule and the producers and the writers and everybody, we did a little sort of mini poker tournament there in Vancouver, which was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, second last question. Go ahead.
Hi. I just wanted to know, do you know all the words to La Bamba?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I answered the question.
Yeah, that was the answer.
I rolled the R, that's all you're gonna get.
All right, that was technically 2 questions.
Something about it, you know, sailor or marinara sauce or something, I don't know.
All right, last question. I'm not going to talk.
Yeah, I don't know if I can. My question was, what happened with Wolf Lake? I mean, that was such a great show, and
You could have told me this was going to be the cruel audience. A really, really cruel audience. Okay, once again. And you know what, I guess I have to credit myself with having some taste in material. Because Wolf Lake was fantastic.
Yes.
Got to work with my dear friend Graham Greene, who I'll take credit for. I got him back on Longmire. Also brought Jen Cardinal to Longmire, who's a dear friend. I first met her when I directed Sioux City and cast her as my mother when I was little. Wolf Lake was fantastic. Now, I will put this in the context of world events and not to trivialize anything. We, no matter how good we were, first of all, we were ahead of our time.
Yes.
Because Twilight wouldn't be for another 4 years.
Right.
You know? And so the supernatural kind of, gothic kind of, we were a werewolf series, by the way, 9 episodes of Wolf Lake. I got Tim Matheson, Bruce McGill, Paul Wellesley, oh my God, Mary Stewart Winstead, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Just a ridiculous cast. It was her first, she's a huge deal now in marrying Ewan McGregor, and they're in Gentlemen together. But she was 15 at the time, and it was her first job. But we're supposed to premiere September 12th, 2001. They pushed back the premiere a week, but we were up against Nightline and ABC's 2020 doing news every single night, and America was not interested in a werewolf show, no matter how good it was. I'll tell you what did very, very well that year, because it I think caught the zeitgeist of what people really needed and felt like they wanted to watch. Was a little show that a friend of mine did called 24.
Yes.
A good Toronto boy.
Yeah, Kiefer.
Kiefer, I love you, man. Kiefer, how you doing?
Well, we love you, man. So thank you for being here. Give it up one more time for Phillips.
Yay! Okay, we are back in studio. We have about 7 minutes. These interviews were courtesy of The local Comic Cons, Nickel City, Niagara. I want to point out that when you are filming these things, even if you do have a tripod, you can't really deal with the fact that people are going to walk in front of you because they need to get through, or they're not paying attention, or they're being rude. You're going to have to deal with ambient noise, like the little kid sitting in the back who's crying or talking. So, even with professional media, it's hard to get what we wish we could have. Now, we tried to, here in studio, we tried to get the picture as close to the actor as possible. And as you saw, it didn't work as well as we would have liked. But I didn't want to just give it to you as a long shot because, there's issues with that too. So, but a lot of the celebs are really nice and approachable, and they talk to you if they can. And some of them are only concerned about selling things, and that's all they'll talk about. And some of them are just concerned about being there, and they don't want to talk to you. It's like, move along. But for the most part, lots of people, most of the celebs, and I will say this, are nice to you when you approach them. And one of the things with these Comic Cons is that they've got like 50 celebrities that you want to meet, and it's hard for you to see everybody's talk on stage, go visit everybody at their tables, and still see other programming, what fan programming they might have, and walk around the dealer's room and look at the exhibits and the vehicles that they want you to take pictures of, and all the dealers are out there. So Comic-Cons are like that, as opposed to fan cons or college cons. And every con has the good part to it, as opposed, every con has the good and bad. So, but I will say this, folks, if you're going to be at a con, and you're going to be involved in any kind of programming, people are going to take pictures, people are going to take videos, and they'll probably put them up on social media. So if you don't want your picture taken, you don't want a video of you taken, then don't enter any competitions or do any programming. And even if you're just walking among the crowd, if you're in a cosplay, people are going to ask you to take pictures. If you don't want to, just let them know nicely, no thank you. But there are going to be people who may shoot pictures of you whether you want them to or not. And I am not one of those people. I will ask permission. And if I'm doing a long shot, a crowd shot, I will make sure as little facials are seen as possible as far as people's features and things. So it's a different world now, folks. And if you're a cosplayer or just a fan attending, you have to be careful. Don't walk in front of people's cameras. Don't walk in front of someone taking a picture of a cosplayer. Don't make a lot of noise when you're at a talk. Don't hog the line too much if there's people behind you when you're talking to a celebrity, especially if you're not buying anything. And even if you are buying something, try not to hold up the line for too long. I mean, I know it's very easy to get talking to the celeb and then realize, hey, there's 10 people behind you who still want to see the celeb and stuff. So do your best to watch everything and not upset people for whatever reason. Believe me, there are a lot more ways of having issues at cons now, or even at festivals, outdoor festivals, indoor festivals. I mean, in this world, a lot of people are worried about social media and having their picture or video out there. Why? I don't know. I mean, but I'm the type of person where if you ask me to take my picture, I'll pose for it no matter what I'm wearing. But, not everyone's like that. And some people who are wearing cosplays do want their privacy. They want the right to cosplay without people having to take their picture or video. And they have that right. I mean, if you spend the time putting a cosplay together and everything, you should be prepared to have people take your picture, but not everyone is like that. So people deserve the right to dress in cosplay and not have people invade their privacy with pictures and videos if they're not in a situation where they can't avoid it. So, cosplay doesn't mean consent. So if you see someone with a cosplay, ask their permission before you take a picture of them. And if they say no, walk away. All right, so we have about 7 seconds. I want to thank Richard for helping me get the show together, and Lou Diamond Phillips and William Shatner. So for the Oracle of Enlightenment Vortex, this is the Observer saying, see you next time.